It's Friday evening. It's about 5:10. Just about. I think I made it here on time. I'm looking at reading a little bit about the history of the 930 Club. For those who have spent any time in the DC area, you will know a little bit about the 930 Club. Some legendary bands, some legendary punk bands played there. And I'm also getting ready to order triple magnesium, so I can find the ones that I like. Triple magnesium is very good for, well, it's very good if you work out for avoiding muscle cramps, but it's also very good for the nerves, very good for stress, calm, and it helps you sleep. So it's a blend, triple magnesium. Let's see. I'll go with here. I'll go, how's you? Are you feeling any better? And Gregory's here. Gregory says, good evening, stay strong, and good night. Already 11 p.m. in South Africa. Bedtime for me. Yes, magnesium is excellent. Thanks for stopping by, Gregory. Hope everything is well with you. I saw you were getting some floods a while back. I was sending out some prayers in your direction. Magnesium is also a pretty good deal. I'm getting 120 capsules, which is a 2-month supply for 20 bucks. Been taking it for a while. You can get it in powder form as well. And it is ordered. Sorry for the distraction. I'm here with my cat, one of my cats. Holger says, hey Yogi, guess who has Wi-Fi again? Noble? Is he up and running? That's awesome. I know that's going to be a big deal for him. Plenty of times he would, everything would stall. Let's see. Let me see if he's live. I was watching our friend Brian Lane get his burpees in for the day. As well, I got our friend, my friend, all of our friends, if you know him. Smitty Deuces 187. Olga says, no, it's me. My Wi-Fi has been down for a while. Hey, I'm happy to hear that. Mine was down for, it's about 2 weeks ago. Only for a day, though. I'm glad you got it back up and running. Gregory says, the other day I skipped my meds. I take meds for blood pressure. I had to check on Google, and they said skipping meds for 2 days can lead to a stroke or heart attack. I was visiting my son, so I slept. Well, you know what? It's good. One, it's good that you remembered that you skipped, so you knew what to do, and that you had the presence of mind to get the proper information. And I'm glad you took care of yourself. I was just going to ask how your knee was, Gregory, and you were replying here. Good night and stay strong. Still struggling with knee injury and looking for a job. All the best. Good luck to you, Gregory. Sending prayers your way, my friend, for all the concerns across the board. Noble's been pretty quiet for, well, he was doing some announcing. Um, so what do you guys think is better for whoever pops up? Um, Going live for marathon sessions. I have a couple friends who live stream. Noble being another one of them, who will do 3 or 4 hours. Mayhem and Miracles, Masha, he stops by, will do 3 or 4 hours. Um, or like spaced out 2 sessions, 2 live stream. I try to do like over an hour each time, 2 sessions a day. Actually, it's 3 sessions now because I'm doing that morning, but the morning doesn't really count. It's just a 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I think people who are, I think that Noble is definitely more entertaining than me. So I think he can pull it off. And Mayhem is working hard for everyone that comes in to visit. If you want to grow your channel, Mayhem and Miracles is the place to go. She's committed to everyone reaching their goals. But I don't know if I'm the sort that should do, those big long sessions. I might try it one day though. Algo says, yeah, I don't think he posted today. Well, maybe he'll pop up this evening. So did you feel good enough to get in some sculpting today? I'm just checking checking along on the YouTube streets, seeing what's up. If I got a friend who is doing a live session, then I'd like to put them up when I'm doing a live, just to have them up and running, offer some support. That's what I'm doing right now with Smitty, as well as Ivy and Rich podcast and Dagmar. Algo says, yeah, sorry I missed this morning. I did wake up at 5, but I immediately did my animals as quickly as possible. I went back to sleep. Hey, no problem at all. I never expect anyone to ever go out of the way just to catch me live. I'll be honest with you. Anything I say isn't all that important, and it's definitely going to be repeated another day. One of the great things about talking about yoga, meditation, and breath work, it's ancient knowledge. It's been around forever, and there's multiple sources that cover it. There is no one that has a monopoly on it. As well, every insight, every little bit of wisdom, that's your own. If I say something and it resonates with someone, it's not me saying it. It's actually your innate wisdom responding to it. I'm just the fortunate can do it. Searching for that word, can do it. Olga says, yes, I did the newest sculpture. It is green mush as of rain with fire on it. as a base. Interesting. I know you're pretty non-committal on showing your art more broadly, but man, I'd love to see your YouTube channel be a showcase for what you're doing, because I think you could inspire a whole lot of people. And our friend Burpee Yoga Uncle is here. It's Aloha Friday, all. Unc, how are you? What's the big number for the weekend? What are you going to do? What are you going to do, or what are you going to eat? Holgo, have you ever been here when Unc has listed some of the stuff that he's eaten? Unc says, don't know, busy life. You are all over the place, that's for sure. No matter where you go, though, you're getting your reps in. Always enjoy seeing that. Holgo says, but sleeping on a couch is not comfortable. But can't get the wife sick. She's a bartender, so can't afford to be sick as she is around many people. That's true. So as soon as I started feeling sick, I slept on the couch. That's nice that you thought of her. Holger says, no, I don't think so. Unk is another Yogi, very entertaining, very explosive. Best, some of the best burpee reps in the game. And Aaron is here. Harbertson? Harbertson. I think I'm saying that right. I need help. My bedroom is getting decorated soon, and I don't want it to happen. And my stuff is out of my bedroom, is getting moved into my room tomorrow. And my stuff out of my bedroom is getting moved tomorrow. What can I do? Why is it getting moved? I guess the thing to ask, what are your options? What can you do? Whoever's moving your stuff, can you ask them not to? You don't want to? You're happy where you are? Can you make your case? I've always found the best option is an intelligent conversation. And if that doesn't pan out and there's no option whatsoever, then life is all about acceptance, making the best of a situation. People don't like to hear acceptance because I think naturally we want to battle. We want what we believe is ours, the best decision, the thing that makes us most comfortable, which is natural. But life doesn't work that way. Life just works however it does. And often, quite often, we're not going to agree with it. That's what Buddha would say causes suffering, that we disagree with the present moment, that we disagree with reality. The way to escape suffering is just to accept reality, accept reality, accept reality. That doesn't mean not making changes. But when that option is no longer available, then we accept reality, and then we can also plan from the present moment. From that position, we're in a place of understanding and a place of power, and we have options. And number one, if we're no longer fighting reality, we just feel better. Aaron says, because my bedroom is getting decorated and because the wallpaper is getting decorated and my dad is moving it. Well, it doesn't sound like that's going to be permanent then. Aaron says, I down to sleep in my bedroom, or I want to sleep with my bedroom with been decorated. What can I do? I'm not one to give advice, really. People might be surprised about that and think, well, you're just giving advice here. It's not really advice. Um, I don't see as there's options. Aaron says, I don't want to sleep in my room when it's decorated. Do you have any say in how it's going to be decorated? I would wait, because it sounds like it's happening regardless. Um, and if you can't think of anything to do, chances are you've already tried a bunch of things and it hasn't worked. Um, and if there was something you could do, I think he would do it. So with that being the case, the best thing to do, just relax. We suffer when we fight reality. Um, so if you can relax, as hard as that sounds, you'll definitely feel better though. And honestly, relaxing isn't as hard as we think it is. It's just accepting. It's just saying to ourselves, this is how things are. I heard a great analogy years ago when I was just a kid, that the key to not suffering is to elevate our demands. And we all have demands in life. I demand to be satisfied. I demand to be happy. I demand not to have to wait in a traffic jam or a long line. We go through life making these demands, and we're never satisfied. We're always tense. We're always stressed out. But what if we just elevated those demands into a preference? Aaron, what if you preferred your room not to get decorated? It's a little bit easier. But man, when you're living your life by all of those demands and they're not going to change, it sounds to me like your room's going to get decorated, and sorry, because you don't like it. In my opinion, that really sucks. I don't think a parent should ever do anything to someone's room that they don't want it, because you're the one that's going to be there. You're the one that's going to sleep there. You're the one, that's your place. I'm going to guess that you're a teenager, maybe. That's a teenager's haven. That's any kid's haven. So they should have input on what's going on. But it doesn't sound like that's the case. So upgrade it, elevate it, have a preference. I would prefer my room to be the same, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that way. IFNHU is here, and he's waving. I was just on your GoFundMe page. $220, man. That's outstanding. That's excellent. I'm going to share again on Twitter, probably Facebook as well. Olga says, hey Yogi, I got a question. What do you eat as a vegan? You want to hear something pretty strange? Man, I eat the same thing every single day. Literally, every once in a while, Milka takes me out for pancakes at our favorite vegan pancakes, of course, our favorite vegan restaurant. I have, I fast through late afternoon all the way through morning-ish. It's about, not as much as I used to. I used to fast 18 to 21 hours every day. Now it's about 15 hours. I have oatmeal every morning. I have oatmeal with flaxseed, walnuts, 1 to 2 bananas, and blueberries. Oh, and a date. Sometimes 2 dates. And then, if it's a particularly hard workout, I might have, I have an apple too. If it's a particularly tough workout, I might have a banana afterwards. My main meal of the day people might call brunch or lunch. It's kind of early even for lunch, and it's actually dinner for me. And it's some whole grain, either brown rice or barley, with half a cup of uncooked lentils, which makes to about a cup and a half of cooked lentils. Um, and I use a little more flaxseed in that, and turmeric, uh, black pepper. Black pepper help turmeric absorb. Turmeric is a great anti-inflammatory spice. Our friend Destiny Forever Walks just put a video up on using spices. Cinnamon's one of her favorite, and I put cinnamon in my oatmeal as well. And I finish that off with a banana. I have a lot of bananas, by the way. And then my last meal of the day is about 3 o'clock, a little before 3. It's right after I meditate for the last time. And it is a large salad, bowl of greens with an apple. Then I'll have another bowl of oatmeal. That's going to change. It's going to become a smoothie, which I normally do in warmer weather because it lowers the temperature of the body. It helps you sleep. But for now, I've been doing oatmeal, another banana, sometimes 2 bananas in it. And I'll finish that off with a piece of Ezekiel bread, toasted, just because I like Ezekiel bread. And I'll do a vegan protein shake. And that's it. Every day, every damn day. The amazing thing, of course I can vary the type of fruit that I have. I might vary the type of apple that I have. I might put different things in my oatmeal, or use a different spice in my main dish. The amazing thing, eating the same thing every day, one, I don't ever have to worry. I'm never bored. I don't have to worry about what am I going to eat today. I don't give it any thought. I make it. But the really amazing thing, aside from the freedom, is that I enjoy it so much. I actually enjoy everything I eat because it's alive. It's live food. It makes me feel good. My joints feel good. At 59, I got some issues. I got a jacked up shoulder. I got a back that goes in and out. I got arthritis in my knee. That's all stuff that happened decades and decades ago. I hurt my shoulder in the 90s. I hurt my back in the 90s. My knee probably from a decade of ultra running. But at 59, I can do anything I want. I could train and do another 100-mile race. I've done 850 days of burpees in a row. All of them hard workouts, nothing easy. I think it's my diet that really helps me do that. And again, I enjoy the taste. I enjoy everything I eat. Our friend Destiny is here. That was a great question, Helga. I appreciate you asking that. Hello, Eric. I'm in the background listening. Can't communicate in the chat, but I can hear you. Thanks for everything and enjoy your weekend. Happy Friday. I will see you on Sunday. Closed on Saturday. Enjoy your day away, Destiny. And we're just talking about you and your wonderful video that you put out on spices. Helga says, that's cool. I usually have eggs and toast for breakfast. I don't usually eat lunch, but what I do, when I do, I eat some mango. Man, I love mango. And a PLT. That reminds me. And for dinner, it's whatever I make, but usually stew or steak on Sundays. I always make burgers, rice, either Spanish, brown, or sticky white. Yeah, I almost always do brown rice. I do like barley, though. I experimented with different grains for a while. Man, rice has, some rice can have a little bit of arsenic in it, which isn't good, especially because I eat a lot of rice. So I try to be careful what I get. I was going to add, I also, in the lentils and the brown rice or barley, I put in a diced potato, baked potato. I cheat with my baked potato. I micro-bake my potato. When I first became a vegan, I wasn't a big uh, vegetable eater. I came from a bodybuilding background where protein was king. Um, and back in those days, I would try to get a gram of protein to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Some say per pound of body weight. Um, Around that time, my father was diagnosed with kidney disease, stage 3, which I think is maybe it was stage 1, which I think is the easiest stage to manage. Didn't need dialysis, just needed to be checked every couple of months. If he kept his diet steady, the doctor said by good chance that you'll be able to maintain it at that stage, which he did. But the doctor said something amazing. He wasn't surprised. He said everyone, and he sees this all the time, um, eventually, if you live long enough, you're going to get some type of kidney disease because Western civilization loves protein and they pound it. Even people who don't train, um, we just don't need that much protein. World Health Organization says the average healthy person needs about 30 grams of protein. If you're an athlete, you could probably thrive on 60. I probably get close to 100 now, maybe more, but it's all plant protein, which is easier on the kidney. But even that, so when I heard the doctor say that, I decided I had to make some changes to my diet because having literally spent decades getting that protein in, tons and tons and tons of it, I got concerned for the health of my kidneys. Um, and when it, definitely had to make some changes. Holga says, if you're wondering, and I was wondering, PLT is pastrami, lettuce, and tomato. My dad would have loved that. He loved pastrami. I would cook meat for my father um, because, one, he's my father, um, and I was his caregiver. My job wasn't to... the only time I ever made any changes to his diet was when he was literally in critical care because of congestive heart failure. And I just was doing what I could to alleviate his suffering. I'm not sure if that was the best thing to do, though. Man, sometimes you're in that position as a caregiver and you start to second guess yourself, which does you no good. That's adding suffering to the mix. Suffering's not there until you start to think about it. Great teacher, Sailor Bob Admonson says, what's wrong with right now if you don't think about it? Our friend Dottie, how are you? Good evening, all. I was looking at your van earlier today, about an hour ago. You've been putting out some amazing content lately. Highly enjoyable. Our friend Brian Lane just put up a video of his workout. He did 5 sets of 50 push-ups, 10 squats, 10 jumping jacks. Brian is an animal. So there's lots of stuff that we can get away with right now, dietary-wise. We don't think about it all. We don't have to think about it at all. But man, it can catch up with you. I always ask people when they ask me, health advice, lifestyle advice, if you suffered the effects of all the effects of eating fast food with one trip to McDonald's, one Big Mac, you had one Big Mac and you immediately gained 40 pounds and got high cholesterol, got high blood pressure, all all the other issues, gout that comes with that kind of a lifetime of eating that, how many Big Macs would you continue eating? If you smoked a cigarette and you immediately got emphysema, um, or lung cancer, or any of the other issues that can come up from smoking, how many cigarettes would you smoke? If you smoked one and you got those results, you would end it completely. Then Daddy says, thank you, Eric, for the support. It is much appreciated. It's my pleasure. I was thinking about that before I came live. If I'm supporting you, rest assured that there's an extremely good reason that I'm supporting you. It's because I absolutely love what you're doing. Anyone who puts so much joy into what they do, there's 100% of my support. And if I can give it, I certainly will. Olga says, it's a good thing to know about the kidney. I only have one working kidney, so really any info about ways to preserve it is good. Sorry to hear that news. I'm also happy that you do have one healthy kidney. Kidneys are an amazing organ, and they can, to a certain extent, regenerate themselves if taken care of. So definitely limit your protein. You know, if what I would do, if you're going to eat meat, it's never my job to tell people to be vegan. I'm a vegan. I have my reason. Doesn't mean you have to be vegan. I always suggest people go plant-based. And by plant-based, I mean just eat tons of vegetables. And then if you include meat, you're helping to offset that. Fill the plate. It's the way people used to eat. You fill the plate with vegetables. All the stuff that we now have side dishes, have that be the vast majority that's on your plate, and then have the meat as a side dish. So you still get the pleasure of eating meat. It's just not the centerpiece any longer. Daddy says McDonald's is definitely not healthy. No, it isn't. Burpee says, or Burpee Yoga Uncle says, we're all given expiration dates. My wife's uncle smoked every day until he left Earth in the 90s. Yeah, I think everyone knows someone who does that or has done that. Or, you know, drinks every day and never has an issue or whatever. For the most part, they're the exception to the rule. And as well, coming from someone who foolishly smoked, foolishly drank, had an extremely reckless lifestyle, and figured I could get away with it because I was working out. I know the effects that it had on my body, on my mind, so I make different choices. And that's why, I always say, I don't give advice. I don't tell people, don't do this, don't do that. But if you want to optimize your health, you eat healthy. If you want to de-emphasize your health, then, eat for the joy of eating. For me, it was retraining my senses so that I greatly enjoy. Man, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of vegetables. Try every one. Same with fruit. Try every single one. And again, I'm a vegan for lots of reasons. But the main one, ethical reasons. Having hunted and having worked in a veal farm and literally have been eyebrow thick in the suffering of animals, I didn't want to participate in it even a little bit any longer, even on the sidelines. Now, if I had to, someone said, well, you got to eat meat for health reasons. I don't know why they would, but if someone did, I would hunt. I wouldn't rely on factory farmers to do the dirty work for me. I would hunt or I would fish. Dottie says, very kind words, Eric. um, and well deserved, Dottie. Um, I truly, truly, truly believe in what you're doing and how you present it. Um, and when I go to someone's channel and it just makes me feel good being there, it's awesome. Um, yeah, Unc says the dude that started the running craze in the 80s because his entire family had heart disease died in 50, I think. Yeah, Jim Fix, um, even though he was fit as heck from running that. He actually had a really poor diet. Um, Same with um, not Frank Shorter. Man, I can't think of his name. He won all the big races in the 80s. Um, and he had a heart attack. But he talked about his diet. He would literally eat mayonnaise with a spoon from the jar. Um, yeah, I mean, you can make a case for everyone, doing whatever. You can have a perfect diet and get hit by a bus. Um, but we all make our choices. Unc says, one of my biz I deal with death, and so many are just unexpected, full health, and bye bye. We never know. It's why Carlos Castaneda talked about his teacher, Don Juan, said in the Toltec tradition, death always lurks on the left hand side, always stalks us, always waiting, going to tap us on our shoulder. And if we realize that, then a large amount of our self importance disappears. Kyle Goth is here. Says, yo, Kyle, how are you? Dottie says, I love veggies, but I am also a meat eater, although I limit meat to weekends only. You see, to me, that could be perfect. Um, Meat, we've gotten into this culture where everything needs to be doubled up. You can't have a burger, it's got to be a bacon cheeseburger. You can't have a bacon cheeseburger, it's got to be a double bacon, double cheese, double patty burger. Um, that we've become, and you know, nothing's wrong with any of that, but we become a slave to our appetites. And when you're enslaved to anything, from it becomes an addiction. It could be a pleasant addiction. We can enjoy it. We could shrug our shoulders and say, I don't mind being an addict. But um, I think when we realize that, things start to change on their own. Kyle says, I appreciate that, Kyle. Holger says, I have another question. Do you eat eggs? I don't, but I have a lot of vegetarian friends who do. Um, and they raise the chickens themselves. Um, so, again, never, never my intention to ever tell anyone how to eat. Unc says, not telling anyone to keep smoking or to eat junk food, just saying we all given expiration dates. I agree. Enjoy the experience in moderation while we are above ground. I'm not a big, big believer in moderation. Um, and I think that's why I became a fairly good ultra runner. It's also why I became an alcoholic, um, because I didn't drink in moderation. Um, I didn't smoke in moderation. Uh, when you have that, for whatever reason, an addictive streak, um, in yoga, it would be explained by the gunas, the predisposition that we all fall into genetically, spiritually, emotionally. Um, and with the goal of diet to be sattvic, meaning pure. You want to work your way towards that purity, and then life begins to get lighter, easier, more joy enhancing, um, which was the case when I started making little changes. Most specifically, when I dedicated my life to meditation, um, the diet took care of itself. The desire for all that stuff, including drinking, and I've told that story quite a bit, how um, I had a complete moment of grace while I was drunk and as I was getting arrested for a DWI. And the insight was if I wanted, I never had to ever have a drink again. This was in 1999. Um, and it was very calm. And I just knew I was done drinking. It wasn't even like any major thing. It was just like, okay, this part of my life is done. I start the new chapter right now. Uh, at that moment, I felt completely sober. I had a great conversation with the police officer. I thanked him for what he did. That a decade of being reckless, of drinking myself out of jobs and relationships and friendships, wrecking my car several times over, worrying everyone who ever cared about me over in an instant. And I just became a non-drinker. I never said I was an ex-alcoholic. I think this might be the first time I actually called myself an alcoholic in decades, um, because I just gave it up without issue, without problem, um, not because it was any great willpower, because it was grace, because the universe, God, said, you're done. And I was. And literally, it's like every cell in my body became that of a non-drinker. And I do credit that to my meditation practice, opening me up. Oops, oh man, I'm falling way behind. Sorry, guys. I went off in a little story. Donnie says, I smoked since I was 16 and then gave up last year. I do have a mild COPD. Sorry to hear that, but I do exercises 2 times a week with this COPD rehab group, which is helping me. Awesome. I'm glad it's helping. And the lungs are another amazing organ that can really repair themselves to a large degree. Maybe not completely, but to the extent that you can resolve a lot of issues. You can still have a happy, fulfilling life by making the changes that our friend Dottie has made. Destiny says, still here. I hear the conversation about diets. Very interesting. Yeah, this is Destiny's thing, by the way. If you guys check out her channel, and most definitely check out the video she put out today, I shared it on my community page, on spices and the importance of including them in our diet. Olga says, I'm not addicted, but I smoke, not cigarettes, cigars and pipes. Is that like a daily thing? One of the things I noticed with people who smoke cigars, it's hardly ever a daily thing. It's one of those things that they savor, and they save it for just that right time. Same with a pipe. I know people who would just want to smoke a pipe in the evening as a calming thing. Destiny saying hi to Unk and Holgo and Dottie. Burpee says, still alive. Burpee Yoga Uncle says, still alive. Still alive and thriving. There's no doubt Unk is one fit dude. Not just fit, he's explosive. Probably gets more height in his Superman push-ups than gravity should possibly allow. I think Unk has an agreement with gravity. I don't know how he got it done, but I think he made some kind of deal where gravity said, you know what, I'm going to lighten things up for you when you do these burpees, maybe lessen gravity by 20%, and Unk just flies up and literally looks like he's flying. Dottie says, I never drank, uh, but smoking was my downfall, but hopefully now I will stay stable. I would be willing to bet that you will. For one, Dottie, you seem someone that is so in love with life that I can't imagine you doing anything anymore that would dampen that experience. Um, you know, just my thoughts. Just the feeling that I get is that you're living a life of joy, and it seems to me that maybe it was a hard-earned path to that joy, and you don't want to jeopardize that for anything right now. But again, just the vibe that I get. Destiny says, "Good that you are, Unk. You're very active, healthy, and strong. It certainly is." Donnie says, "I think food is an addiction to a point, and people do comfort eat. So many things we take for granted are an addiction. Thinking is an addiction, especially so because we don't seem to realize that one relating to our thoughts is optional. The dialogue that goes on in our brain, that's not who we are. That's just an electrical frequency, neurons synapsing, causing a thought to happen, and then we have it and we relate to it and we think that's us. But we're the awareness to the thought. We are that which is prior to thought. The case being, when you enter deep sleep, the third state of consciousness, you have waking state, you have dreaming state, and you have deep sleep. If you were your thoughts when no thoughts are occurring, do you still exist? There's space between every thought. That's the secret to meditation. It isn't to end thoughts, it's to fall into the gap in between thoughts, which is always present. And that's pure awareness, pure consciousness itself. The problem is we keep having these thoughts and we become addicted to them, and we're addicted to the belief that we are the thoughts as well as our opinions. An opinion is just a collection of thoughts that we've had for so long that we think it's true. And then we pit our opinion against someone else's opinion. Ours must be right because we have it. Our beliefs must be true because they're ours, and because our parents had them, and my grandparents, my great-great-parents had them all the way, or I read a book, or I had teachers, or clergy, or whatever. It's on the media. None of it's ours. It's all inherited. An original thought always occurs within silence. It's an inspiration. It's one of those epiphanies that changes the world, or at least our personal world. Olga says, my phone crashed. What did I miss? Man, when did the phone crash? I think I went off on another tangent. You missed another tangent. So it was probably a good thing that your phone crashed. Dottie says, I find fasting for 2 days a week good detox, drinking plenty of water. Yeah, it really is good for you. And that's another thing for Holgo to consider, because we were talking about kidney health. And man, doing a fast really helps detox the kidney. Destiny says, Unc, that is what you said, and I just repeated your words. Did I miss that? Olga says, I don't think I've ever had a double burger before. Huh. Good for you. Taking joy in the simplicity of life. My friend, our friend, Goldie, and I have talked about that quite a bit. The art of contentment, which seems to be a lost art in this day and age. Everything needs to be supersized, supercharged, super fast. Um, we're not just content with beingness itself. The fun thing is when you're content with beingness itself, all that other stuff comes as a bonus. And you can enjoy it, but when it's gone, you're perfectly fine that it's gone. Um, More and more, my life aims towards that simplicity and contentment. I'm not there yet, but and I'm not even striving to get there, but I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm letting go, I'm letting go, I'm letting go. Mocha McCarty is here. Mocha says hi. Hey Mocha. Everyone is saying hi to Mocha. Jeremy and Cheryl's Cruise Adventures says, hey everyone. I'm going to give a salute and a shout out to Jeremy and Cheryl's Cruise Adventures again. I did this the other night. And I try to do it even when they don't pop up. I like talking about the channels that I like and support. These guys are a lot of fun. It's a joy to listen to them. And I often do after I finish my writing, my last couple sips of coffee, and I just sit and listen to them talk. They're a cruise channel, and you'll get a ton of great information on cruises, what to pack, what to be prepared for, you name it. And you can ask a question, and they'll answer it for you. But even if you don't intend on going on a cruise, they're just so much fun. Olga says, absolutely. It's not usually daily with the cigars. The pipe is more common than cigars. Me and the wife decided to stop smoking as much as before in our second year of marriage, but because of that. Yeah, cigars always just seem like a luxury. You know what I mean? One of those things you just kick back with. It's the same where, people who like having an occasional, mixed drink or, whiskey or whatever, where it's not an issue. For me, unfortunately, things like that became an issue. I don't know why. I don't know why some people are geared towards addiction. I'm glad I found out for me because now, this is why I don't do a lot of things in moderation because I don't. I probably could have a drink right now and go another 25, 26 years without drinking. Or I could have a drink and go completely haywire. You would see me running amok on the streets of YouTube with a lampshade on my head. Dottie says I stay grounded and tuned to nature. Yeah, I can definitely see your deep love of nature. That's what drew me to your channel. And you know what? You picked the perfect song for your shorts. So while I'm giving shout outs, you guys definitely got to go click on the blue wrench for Dottie and visit her channel. She deserves all the subscriptions. And when I say all the subscriptions, I mean every single person who's on YouTube should subscribe to Dottie. Olga says we have this running joke, buying each other lighters for birthday or anniversaries. Desi says hello and happy Friday to Jeremy and Cheryl's Cruise Adventures. Destiny says, love it. Dottie, we have to stay grounded and connected to nature. Yeah, we definitely do. All important. Never lose sight of that. If you visit Destiny's channel, you will see her deep love of trees. Dottie says, we do, Destiny. Nature brings me so much joy. Me too. I told Mocha today when we were walking how much I love the gifts that she gave me. My little handheld Canon power zoom. I was using my phone to do my videos before, and it got the job done. It felt awkward. Wasn't always reliable, it seemed. But this little camera does everything I want it to do. And I feel like I'm on purpose, following my own dharma of nature. Mayhem or Miracles is here. I was just talking about you earlier. All good stuff. Mayhem says, hello, everyone. That's Masha. Oh, Holgo says, it crashed before I got the answer about eggs. I don't eat eggs. I know I have some vegetarian friends who do, and they raise the chickens themselves, and so they gather the eggs. And I think that if you have an appetite for eggs, and you're doing it in a compassionate manner, taking care of your chickens. Everyone I know who has chickens absolutely love their chickens and would never ever do anything to harm their chickens. Eggs are perfectly fine. They don't have a place in my diet, so I don't eat them. But if they have a place in someone else's diet, do your best. And when you do your best to find these ethical places for cage-free, you're helping small farmers, which is all important. Because farming nowadays, unfortunately, is an agribusiness. But we still have a lot of small farmers who have a lot of love for the life that they have. And they're the ones that really deserve our support. Destiny says, yes, I can relate to that, Dottie. Nature is where I find myself in freedom. I mentioned before, it's a Vedic concept of meditation, of simply being in nature. As soon as we're in nature, our eyes respond to the fractal patterns of nature, that self-replicating structure of nature itself, which is also in our brain and our body organs as well. So the brain syncs up, and there's a almost immediate reduction of stress, up to 60% in just a few moments of being out in nature. And nature doesn't have to be getting out in a huge park or a forest. It could be a small patch of woods. It could be a small patch of grass. Taking your shoes off and getting your feet in the grass. Wandering on a beach, listening to the water, listening to a stream. Nature could be on a city block, looking at a tree, watching insects, watching birds, watching squirrels. The great thing is that we are nature itself. So that's why we respond so deeply to it. The brain immediately starts to produce alpha waves, which is the beginning stages of meditation, deep relaxation, as well as preparation for restfulness itself. And it's also the source of inspiration and creativity. When I think we've all had the experience where we're trying to have some kind of creative breakthrough, and we're struggling and we're struggling and we're struggling. It just doesn't come, and we decide, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to go outside and take a walk. And as soon as we take that break, the mind relaxes. It enters in, you forget that. The mind enters into that alpha wave state, and bam, you're hit with that inspiration. So we can do that purposely by just taking a 20-minute walk in nature every morning. Your blood pressure will be reduced, heart health is increased, lung capacity is increased, you burn calories, you reduce stress. I always tell people, if you can't sit and meditate, I put myself out of business as a meditation teacher. If you can't sit and meditate, which a lot of people simply feel incapable of doing, perfectly fine, just go outside and walk in nature. You will enter a light and easy state of meditation naturally. Dottie says, just sitting in a log in a forest listening to birds is so empowering. It is, definitely. Duncan Walsh is here. Hey, Mr. McCarty. I'm ready for a full report card from our friend Duncan. Dottie says, the slower pace of life away from hustle and bustle of the city is a great detox for the mind. Oh, it is. And man, even if you can do what Dottie said up above, sitting on a log, 5-10 minutes. You know, amazingly, if you watch nature videos, your brain and body responds to the nature videos. It's not quite the same, but you want to take a 5-minute detox from a busy day in front of a computer, put on a nature video. I might suggest to do so, go visit Dottie's channel and put on one of her nature videos. Or go to Kay Renee's channel and take a tour of her garden. What a beautiful tour. Thank you so much for that, Kay. Duncan says, your deliberate mistake? Was there a deliberate mistake? Which one was the deliberate mistake? And I can make my case. Let me take my little herbal supplement along with melatonin. Let's see. Everyone's saying hi. Duncan says, is there anything you may have missed in the last couple of days? I got my dips and my chins in. My navel seals, my intervals. I haven't done a fartlek session in a while. I did do an easy session. I did a couple of zone 2. Been nasal breathing. I don't think so. We got a big hey Destiny from Duncan. And enthusiastic. Dottie said, oh, that's very kind, Eric. You know what? I'm so blessed by the people who come here because they have such passion for the stuff that they do, for their channels. It's contagious. I can't help but want to. Mocha, if Mocha is still here listening, will tell y'all, everyone, how enthusiastic I am about the things that I fall in love with. That not only do I fall in love and go all in, but I drag everyone along with me, which is why I gently persuaded Mocha to run a 50K, and then a 50 miler. After the first 50 miler, she was all in. Destiny says, okay, Eric, thanks for everything, and I enjoyed the conversation. I did too. Thank you for being part of it, Destiny. I have to go, and we'll see you all later. Happy weekend, and much love, everyone. Masha says, happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday to you. Dottie says, hey, hi to Mayhem. Masha says, we'll be listening, having my dinner. Thank you. I appreciate you listening. Olga says, I agree. I have chickens as well. I get eggs and they eat ticks. It's a win-win. Yeah, and they're such intelligent birds. Um, some have said that they actually have the um, emotional intelligence of a small child. Same with crows. Goldie's here. I was mentioning Goldie before as well. Uh, my wonderful talks that I get to have with Goldie. Goldie says, hi there, lovely people. Hey, has your new coworker started yet? Duncan says, I don't see Thursday's interval session. Did you accidentally not upload it? Um, it is there, but it's under live. Um, I need to put it in the playlist. I might have forgotten to put it on the playlist of burpees. But if you go to, if you click on the live icon, um, it'll show up as one of my live events. And I did it live, hoping that you would show up. And I appreciate that you came there and offered some encouragement. Very much appreciated. Duncan says, hey to Goldie. Oh, I think you mentioned that. Nope, after Easter weekend. Which reminds me that I wanted to look up Orthodox Easter. I won't read it now, but I will have it up. Sunday, May 5th. Happy Easter, Goldie. Happy early Easter. Today is Good Friday. So, you know, again, I'm not going to look it up. Well, I have it up. I'm going to read it probably before bed. But Goldie, let me ask you a question. Why is Orthodox Easter on a different day than, I guess, Catholic Easter? Duncan says, you're right. I was there. I couldn't watch it all at the time, so I thought I would catch up on it later. Let me cruise on over there. Yeah, I wanted to do it live. That was no easy session. So if you go to the live and you go down a few, says Jesse Yogi doing burpees in his basement is live. Nope, I don't think that's it. I'm looking for it, Duncan. There it is. Jesse Yogi doing burpee intervals live. What a painful session. Sorry for the quiet here. I'm going to take care of something real quick. So Duncan, I just tagged you in the post, so it should come right up. Kay says, your burpees are great, Yogi. Thank you, Kay. And I appreciate you being there for that live session as well. I don't often do live sessions for burpees. For one, especially doing the nasal breathing, I can't have a conversation with people. So it doesn't really make for riveting riveting viewing, I think. Half-naked bald guy going up, going down, going up, going down. In description, it doesn't sound very good. Gordy said we had an awesome time at church. I'm glad to hear that. Duncan says we'll watch later. That last 2 minute, man, that was tough, Duncan. Gordy says because the entire world goes according to the Julian calendar. I was just reading about the beginning of spring, that meteorologists believe spring will say that spring starts March 1st, which when because that's when you actually begin to feel the difference, and it's based upon the Gregorian channel or Gregorian calendar, and the equinox is based upon positioning of the planet in relation to the sun. So it's more of a less about spring, less about weather, and more about arrangement. Gordy says Orthodox calculated it according to the Gregorian channel. Okay. Calendar. I keep saying channel. Gordy says next year it'll fall on the same day. Duncan says, thanks, Eric. Duncan says, how many in the last 2 minutes? I think I did 7 and 6. It might have been 7 and 5. It was at last minute. The first 30 seconds in the last minute. And then I managed to get a little bit of a rebound. Duncan says, I really think it's the last 2 minutes that push up your anaerobic threshold, especially on the back of a hard pace. It's definitely did something for me. It's definitely been doing something for me. I was really tempted, though, to skip the nasal breathing a time or two. I haven't broken stride yet, but man. Unk says the lunar calendar is what a lot of the world is still following, especially Asia. Interesting. Unk says, I think the calendar and even 24-hour time confuses the body, and government does it intentionally. I agree that it confuses the body, definitely. And I hate daylight savings time. I don't use the word hate lightly. I actually do my best not to use it every once in a while. It's one of those ingrained things. Doesn't mean you really hate something. So yeah, I definitely agree that all of it's made up. Hours, time, calendars. And we never question it. We take it all as reality when it isn't. We have varying degrees of light, varying degrees of darkness, varying degrees of cold, varying degrees of heat. And that's life unfolds from there continuously. Goldie says, yes, daylight savings time is confusing and just unnecessary in this day and age. Goldie says it's our way to measure time. Of course, if we went by way of quantum physics, they would say that with time not truly existing, nothing can really be measured. Goldie says the calendar, I mean. They did. I think it might have been a Harvard study decades and decades ago, where they took a group of older people, 60s, um, and had them live together. It was like for a 3 week period of time, and they did all kinds of test aging metrics across the board. And then they had them live in that house together, listening to the music they did when they were younger, um, dressing the way they did when they were younger, basically doing all the stuff they used to do. And they took the metrics again after that point, and all of them physically regressed healthier to a younger age set. Olga says, hey Yogi, I know you have 2 cats. Have you owned other animals as well? Always have dogs. My entire life, we've always had dogs. From uh, a young age up until, um, I guess, the last 2 dogs we had died. We had a corgi. Mocha and I had a corgi and a skipperkey. A skipperkey is it's a Norwegian ship dog. They were trained to, their voices would carry, and you'd hear the calls back and forth on ships, and it would help them navigate. As well, they would hunt vermin on the boat. Ours wasn't a true skipperkey. It was, but it was its own thing. This was this dog was a highly intelligent beast with a mind of its own. Did whatever it wanted to do. An awesome, awesome little dog. Same with our corgi, was an awesome dog. And when they passed away, the first one, the corgi in 2018, and the skipperkey, I don't know why more so than other dogs they've had, just literally broke my heart. And I haven't been able to even consider a dog. But I have a loner dog. Missy has, Mocha has Missy. I was going to say Misty has Mocha, and I think that might be all the more because Misty came up and announced to Mocha, I'm your dog, as a puppy, and she was. And I walk with them. Misty comes over. When Mocha was working, I took care of Misty. So those are loner dogs, good dogs to have. None of the mess, all of the fun. Unc says, ever heard the theory of the 440 HC versus 432 HC and how it messes with our body? The 440, is that sort of the, equates to the love vibration? 432, I'm not familiar with in music. I think the 440 HC is the harmonic, where we're aligned. We feel our best. The body responds on a deep cellular level. I might have that confused though. Goldie says, I'm not a quantum physicist and I need time dumbed down for me. I always tell people I read a ton of books on quantum physics. I understand absolutely none of it. But it makes me feel good to read. Not feel good like, look how smart I am, but something like responds on a vibratory level when I read it. But I agree. Uh, time may be, uh, time might be fiction, but it's a useful fiction. If I still watch TV, I would say it lets me know when my shows are on, but I haven't really watched TV in quite some time. Unc says the moon controls the tides on Earth. You think it has no bearings on humans? Oh yeah, I mean we're a considerable amount of water. We're ocean creatures. We emerged from the ocean. We literally have the basis of seawater in our veins. Very comparable. The water, the constitution of the blood within our bodies is extremely similar to the constitution of the ocean. Goldie says, I know the moon has bearings on humans. Squirrel Sniper is here, greeting beautiful souls from across the pond but under the same skies. Goldie says, yes, I've heard about that. Holger says, I've had dogs all my life, but the first time I've actually owned a dog was my German Shepherd, Frank. I got him 2 years ago. German Shepherds are great dogs. I don't see them as often as I used to. The Godzilla is here. Ever seen a Godzilla movie? You know what? I don't think I've ever seen one all the way through. Back in the days when we had the local, what was it, the UHF channels, if you're in America, just the local channels, and they would have the creature feature specials, Sunday mornings or sometimes late on a Friday or Saturday night, and I would catch little bits of them. Goldie says hi to Godzilla. He says hi back. Goldie said she saw the very first one. I'm not a fan of Godzilla. There's a new one, right? I think. Holga says, all right, I'm going to take a shower. I'll see you later, Yogi. Holga, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. I'm going to talk probably for about 5 more minutes or so. And then I got to call it a night too. Decompress a bit before sleep. I got my early morning again. The early mornings, they don't feel early. I mean, I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I just go to bed early, and I like getting up early. When I get outside for my very first walk, I'm almost inevitably alone, which I enjoy. I enjoy that solitude. Unk says Godzilla -0 is about the best one. It won an Oscar even this last year, and blows away all the $200 million made movies. I didn't know it won an Oscar. Godzilla -0. Wow. And hey, it gets an endorsement from the Godzilla, so that's got to be big. So the Godzilla, you recommend that? I don't know anything about Godzilla really, but my understanding was that Godzilla wasn't really a bad creature, just wanting to be left alone. Man, I think we can all sort of relate to that a bit, right? Unk says it was made for cheap 15 mil and made 102 globally. Wow. When you watch it, you can't tell it's only 15 mil. Amazing. A lot to be said for quality work. And quality doesn't mean necessarily technology and a ton of money. A good story is a good story. I think that's when I was thinking of Godzilla versus Kong. The Godzilla says, never seen it, but heard it was good. I heard good rumors. Alex says, absolutely, forget the one in the movie theater, Godzilla and Kong. Goldie says, last movie I watched is Iron Man 1. Man, that put Marvel back on the map. Reset the Marvel universe, movie-wise. As well as doing wonders for Robert Downey Jr. Such a great actor, and then he, a lot of promise when he was younger, and he fell on some hard times, self-induced hard times. The depending on how you view addiction. So glad he turned his life around, and that was a perfect role for him. Goldie says she owns the DVD. Unk says no, Godzilla is allegory to atomic bomb. Wow, I didn't know that. And what it did to Japan. Wow. Might have to read about that too. That's really interesting, Unk. Thanks for letting me know that. Let's see. Goldie says watch it with Isabella. She usually complains about bad STI, and she was amazed by the details in this one. Robertino says, ha ha ha, you have cancer, or misspelled leukemia. If I did, I'm sort of surprised that you would think it was funny. I don't. But it's actually kind of surprising that you would think that would be funny. Usually, we get people who are extremely caring popping in. So, if you were concerned, Robertino, I actually don't. I'm just old and bald. Unk says Marvel is dead. We got a dead bounce with Deadpool and Wolverine, but that's about it. Boat has sailed. I'm glad they're bringing Wolverine back, at least for, a one-shot deal. Marvel is dead. Man, that's too bad. Because DC is going nowhere. I'm a big Batman fan. I wish they would get him right. Unk says Godzilla is not a monster movie, but a commentary on atomic warfare and nature. Man, that's going to help me look at it in a new light. Thank you, Unk. And the Godzilla says, Burpee, are you a fan of old or Monster vs. Godzilla? Goldie says yes, because Disney took it over. I wonder why Disney would make something worse. Weird. Unk says Godzilla minus one won the best visual effect Oscar last year. Let that sink in. A measly $15 million movie with virtually zero budget and visual effects, and they won. You would think that would be a lesson to all the major studios. Tell a good story. Goldie says, but I own every Marvel DVD that still had Stanley showing up. Oh, yeah, what was the last one that he showed up in? It was always so cool that he made that appearance. Hunk says, and typically in Godzilla movies, the people are there to be eaten or killed, not Godzilla -1. Go watch it, and yeah, I like it when Godzilla fights other monsters too. Goldie says they made it worse because they didn't follow the storytelling. They were too busy taking the boxes. Endgame was the last one. What do you have any hopes for like another Spider-Man movie coming out? I do like Spider-Man. I gotta admit, when we talk comics, I'm a DC fan, but I'm I'm a big Spider-Man fan. And I've honestly, almost all of the Marvel movies, almost all of them, I've enjoyed. The Godzilla says, wait, Godzilla -1 is 0, right? And Unc says, Disney killed 2 franchises, Star Wars and um, the Marvel. Yeah, I haven't seen a Star Wars since the original trilogy. It's all over the place now, from what I can tell. Goldie says, but he was already dead when it was launched. -0. Goldie says, nope, I don't have hope when it comes to Marvel anymore. Ah, that's too bad. Unc says, 1, just minus. Okay. I am old and senile. You think we're the same age, Unc? I'm in the same boat with you. Goldie says to Unc that you are right. I'm going to queue up Godzilla. And again, that'll be for my morning reading. Man, I really appreciate the information, Unc. Unc says, the real fans of Marvel no longer call it MCU, but the MCU. Goldie says I was talking about Marvel and Star Wars. The Godzilla says then I'm the youngest one. Yeah, probably. We had a few youngsters on earlier. So, before I close down for the night, I'll ask one question. Um, let me know what you guys think. At what point did Marvel go off the rails? At what point was things ticking along nicely, telling good stories, and when did it head south? Turn sideways. Unc says, I love Ripley, Sarah Connor, etc. They are all well-written female heroes, not to crud that is in the SW and M Shiyu. Godzilla says 12. Goldie says, well, yes, you are on the young side. Young, but insightful. Appreciate you being here, Godzilla. Always appreciate it when bright and curious young minds come and take part in the conversation. It's just a whole different energy. And our friend Flower comes here. She's 11. The Godzilla says, for me, Endgame. Goldie says, after Stan Lee passed away. Godzilla says, thanks, you're welcome, my friend. Endgame seems really hard to come back from. It's like they closed everything out. So where do you go? Where do you go with that? The Godzilla says, I subbed. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm checking out your channel right now, the Godzilla. And I'm going to return the favor. I'm going to sub to you as well. Unc says, anyone saw The Monkey Man? No. Man, I can't even tell you the last movie that I saw. It's been a long time. So, gonna have to shut things down for the night. This was a great conversation. Covered a whole lot of ground. And I enjoyed the ending conversation. Nice and relaxing. Masha says, have a good night, everyone. Thank you, Masha. I appreciate you being here. Listening while you ate. Hope you had a good dinner. And hope you have a good night's sleep. Although I know it's early for most everyone, except for an old Yogi. Masha says, I'm done eating. And gives a big enthusiastic to Goldie. Goldie deserves all the enthusiasm in the world. Monk says, very interesting movie. Again, it's sort of a commentary on Indian government. Go watch it. Duncan Walsh Fitness Motivation. Duncan might see it this weekend. Kay is still here. Thanks for sticking around, Kay. Kay says, have a great evening, everyone. And Kay, thank you again for the garden tour. Man, I really love that. And two things before I say goodnight to everyone. Kay Renee's garden gave a lovely tour of her garden for me today. And I learned the term companion planting. I had mentioned yesterday the three sisters that Native Americans, Eastern Native American tribes plant to support each other, but I didn't know that it was spread across the board, that in such a practice still, I sort of thought it might have been a lost art. But man, Kay really opened my eyes. And also, you know, I spent a lot of time talking about creativity, inspiration, and art, especially how it relates to YouTube. For me, the great thing of having a YouTube channel is expressing yourself as an art form. And yesterday, I was talking with Kay about gardening as an art form, and it truly is, and a beautiful one at that, as well as a healthy and relaxing one. So definitely go check out Kay Renee's garden. But on an ending note, everyone that I subscribe to and that I participate in on their channel, and that I really believe in, I view them as being an artist in a non-traditional way. Some of the great inspiration, this will be my last little comment here, Mayhem and Miracles, Masha, an art form of simple conversation, relating to each person that comes into the chat and making it look so effortlessly, given so much, always engaged. Engagement is truly an art form, and conversation is a lost art form. So when I watch certain people go live, um, it really inspires me to take the live stream seriously as a form of art, which means that you don't always you guide, but you don't insist. You see which way the winds are blowing conversationally, um, and it's been a whole lot of fun. And I really, really, very much appreciate the inspiration that I get from each and every one of you, um, and that's everyone. So, in all sincerity, uh, thank you guys. Um, we get an aloha from Monk. Kay says, I appreciate that, Yogi. And I really appreciate again, the tour. And by the way, if you want to see an amazing 50 burpees, go visit Kay. 50 in the books. Masha says, thank you. You're welcome, and thank you. Man, you've really helped me shape my channel in the most enjoyable way possible. Just redefining what a live session can be. The Godzilla, my new friend. Man, I really appreciate you coming in. You helped steer the conversation in a very entertaining way. So thank you. Very much appreciate that. Duncan and everyone who came in, Milka, Destiny, Holgo, Unk. Unk is always a lively conversationalist. Never with Unk, expect the unexpected, and expect to be informed and entertained. It's a good friend, great burpee practitioner. So, guys, I'm gonna say goodnight. Thanks again. Take care.